Lena was the kind of girl most people didn't notice, quiet, shy, and always alone. She walked through the school halls with her head down and her shoulders heavy, not just from her old worn-out backpack, but from something no one else could see. That backpack was always stuffed with snacks, chips, cookies, candy bars, all packed neatly in plastic bags. Every day, Lena sat alone at lunch, placing the snacks on the table like a small shop. She didn't talk much, she just waited. Some students laughed when they walked by. "Hey, snack girl, got a discount for friends?" one boy shouted. Another girl whispered loud enough for Lena to hear, "Maybe she thinks this is a flea market." They all laughed, but Lena didn't. She never did. She just looked down and kept going, sometimes smiling weakly, sometimes staying quiet. Even the teachers didn't stop it. A few even called her the vendor behind her back, shaking their heads like she was just some strange kid trying to get attention. But Lena never defended herself, never raised her voice. She just kept selling, even when her stomach growled louder than the bell for lunch. Every day at school was a battle for Lena, but not the kind you'd expect. The other kids didn't fight with fists, they used their words and sneers. They laughed when she pulled out a snack and tried to sell it quietly during breaks. Some pretended to buy from her just so they could say mean things after. One afternoon, a group of popular students decided to make a video of Lena selling snacks. They whispered and giggled as they filmed her quietly pulling candy bars out of her backpack. Later that day, the video was shared on social media with cruel captions like, "Look who thinks she owns the school." The teasing didn't stop. At lunch, some students called her names, making faces, pushing their trays closer to her table as if to say, "Why are you here?" Lena sat still, biting her lip, trying not to cry. Even her teachers noticed. One teacher caught her selling snacks during class and scolded her in front of everyone. "This isn't a marketplace, Lena, you know better," she said sharply, shaking her head. Rumors began to spread that Lena might be expelled for breaking the rules. Some students whispered, "She's going to get kicked out for selling snacks." Others thought it was funny, like she was asking for trouble, but Lena never fought back. She simply kept her head down, hoping no one would dig deeper into why she was doing this. The truth was heavier than the mocking, but she wasn't ready to share it, not yet. One day, after being caught selling snacks during class again, Lena was sent to the principal's office. The hallway felt longer than ever as she walked slowly, her heart pounding in her chest. Students passed by, snickering or staring like she was a joke. When Lena finally reached the heavy wooden door, she hesitated before knocking softly. The principal, Mrs. Carter, was known for being strict and serious. Lena wasn't sure what to expect. "Come in," Mrs. Carter called. Her voice was firm but calm. Lena stepped inside and saw the principal sitting behind her large desk, arms crossed. "Lena, we've talked about this before. Selling snacks at school is against the rules. Why do you keep doing it?" Lena looked down at her hands. She wanted to explain, but felt the weight of all the teasing and judgment pressing on her. She stayed silent for a long moment. Finally, Mrs. Carter leaned forward and softened her tone. "I'm not here to punish you, but you have to tell me why. What's going on?" The room felt heavy. Lena's throat tightened. She blinked back tears, but then took a deep breath and began to speak. The truth she had kept hidden for so long was about to come out. Lena's voice was barely above a whisper as she started to explain. "My dad, he left us last year. Just gone. Mom got really sick after that. She can't work anymore." She paused, swallowing hard. "I have a little brother. He's only 6. Mom spends most days in bed and sometimes we don't even have money for the medicine she needs." She looked up, her eyes shining with quiet pain. "Every night I pack snacks from a little shop Mom tried to open before she got sick. It didn't work out, but she still keeps the snacks at home. I bring them to school to sell, to help pay for Mom's medicine and keep the lights on." Lena's voice cracked as she continued. "I don't tell anyone, because I don't want pity, and I don't want anyone to know we sometimes go to sleep hungry. I don't even eat lunch here because I want to save as much as I can." Mrs. Carter listened silently, her eyes filling with tears. She hadn't imagined such a heavy burden on this small girl's shoulders. Lena took a shaky breath and said, I know selling snacks is against the rules, but I don't have a choice. If I don't do this, I don't know how we'll survive. The room was silent except for the quiet sound of Lena's breathing. The truth hit Mrs. Carter hard. What looked like misbehavior was actually courage and sacrifice beyond what anyone had guessed. Mrs. Carter sat quietly for a moment, her eyes wet with tears. She tried to hide. She reached out and gently placed her hand over Lena's. I had no idea. I'm so sorry you've been carrying all this on your own. Lena looked down again, unsure what to say. The principal's kindness felt strange, but comforting. How long have you been doing this? Mrs. Carter asked softly. Almost a year, Lena replied, her voice small. Mrs. Carter took a deep breath. Lena, you won't be punished. Instead, we're going to find a way to help you and your family. For the first time in a long while, Lena felt a small spark of hope. Mrs. Carter smiled gently. You're very brave, you don't have to carry this burden alone anymore. She gave Lena a warm hug, and Lena's shoulders relaxed for the first time in what felt like forever. The principal's tears showed her how much she cared, and it was the first time someone truly understood her struggle. The next morning, the whole school buzzed with something new. Word had spread that the principal was holding a special assembly. Students whispered, wondering what it was about. Some who had once mocked Lena felt uneasy. When the assembly began, Mrs. Carter stepped onto the stage. She spoke about kindness, empathy, and how everyone carries battles no one can see. Without naming Lena, she told the story of a brave girl who sold snacks every day, not for fun, but to help her sick mother and little brother. The room grew quiet as the story sank in. Then Mrs. Carter called Lena up to the stage. The students gasped. Lena's face was red, but she stood tall. The principal smiled and announced, we're starting a fundraiser to support this family. And from now on, our school will have a small snack shop run by students, so no one has to feel alone or embarrassed for trying to help their families. The students who had teased Lena looked ashamed. One by one, they stepped forward to say sorry. Some even hugged her. The video of Lena selling snacks went viral again, but this time people praised her strength and courage. Comments poured in, calling her a hero, someone who reminded everyone of the power of kindness. With the fundraiser and the school's support, Lena's family began to see a brighter future. A local hospital offered to help her mother with free treatment, and neighbors donated food and clothes. Slowly, the heavy weight on Lena's shoulders started to lift. The school's new snack shop became a place where students helped each other instead of teasing. Lena, still quiet but now smiling more, felt accepted. She wasn't just the snack girl anymore. She was brave, strong, and loved. Mrs. Carter and Lena grew close, sharing quiet talks after school. The principal became more than a school leader, she became family. The story of Lena reminds everyone that behind every face is a story. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who suffer in silence, and sometimes all it takes is a little kindness to change a life. The narrator closes softly, you never know what someone is going through, so be kind. Because every act of kindness can light up the darkest days.